This video was brought to you by stntrading.eu. They enhance your trading experience by offering extremely fast automated trading services for both TF2 and CSGO items. Be sure to check them out in the description below. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Joe and welcome to the first episode in a brand new series on this channel. And this is going to be a series where I'm going to be covering 5 budget unusuals that should be affordable for you to buy for each class in the game. There will be 10 episodes, one for each class as I mentioned, and then an extra one at the end for all class unusuals. My idea of a budget unusual, I asked this in my Discord for some of my Discord members' advice, and they said anything around the sort of 20 to 30 key margin is considered a budget unusual. What I consider to be a budget unusual, or like anything in budget in general, is something that if you want to invest real world cash into it, it's not really going to break the bounce load. So you're not trying to get yourself like a 1000 key unusual. This is just a nice, fairly cheap, good looking unusual that you can make some nice loadouts with on a budget. Now these are just my opinions, but these are some nice hats and effects combined together to give you a very nice budget hat. So without further ado, let's get straight into our 5th hat of the list. So in the 5th spot on the list and the first unusual in this episode, we have the Sunbeams Bombing Run. Now although the bombing run itself isn't really a nice hat, Sunbeams is undeniably one of the best effects in the game. There is quite a contrast in the fact the bombing run is one of the lowest tier hats in the game and Sunbeams is one of the highest tier effects in the game, but regardless, this unusual actually comes in at about 30 keys. However, there's multiple ones on the market for under this, including one for 26 and one for 27. For this reason alone, this means you can afford a nice Sunbeams unusual for your scout for under the price of 30 keys, which is essentially under $50, which I do consider very cheap considering the tier of the effect, and overall just how nice it would look in game. So next up on the list we have the Milkman, and this time it's going to be accompanied by the effect of Memory Leak. Now Memory Leak is a very controversial effect, but regardless this unusual is just priced at 19 keys, which is very cheap. Memory Leak for me it's a really nice effect in my opinion. Same with Overclocked, I really don't think they get the recognition they deserve. They're extremely unique, and although they're not too noticeable, I think in game this effect is actually really nice, and it's not too flashy, but it's still noticeable, and overall it's just really underrated. This unusual effect is actually fairly limited as well. It was released in the Robotic Boogaloo update back in May 2013, and overall I don't think too many hats were unboxed with it, and it was of course very limited. I believe it probably still can be unboxed now in the Robo crates, it's just no one really unboxes them anymore, so the chances are this unusual will stay one of 2 for quite some time, quite possibly forever. So onto our 3rd unusual now, and we have a slightly more expensive one once again, being the Circling Heart Bonk Helm. Now Circling Heart is a very popular effect. I suppose you could say it's very lovable. Okay, enough of the puns. But this unusual effect is very popular, and overall it's fairly high tier. I'd say definitely the very high range of mid tier to the low range of high tier, and overall it's just really nice. The Bonk Helm itself isn't a hugely popular hat. I believe it's kind of a low tier scout hat, and it's just a batter's helm with a bonk atomic punch on each side, but I guess it's a very acquired taste. But with this unusual coming in at 24.5 keys, you can't really go wrong. A very nice Circling Heart unusual, and for a very respectable price. So coming in at the runner-up spot on this list we have the Miami Knights Whoopee Cap. Now the Whoopee Cap is probably one of my favourite unusual scout hats due to the fact it's very affordable, being that it's quite a low tier hat, but it does manage to look really nice while doing so. Miami Knights is a very respectable and cheap low tier effect, but it's very popular among the community. However, this unusual is just only 16 keys, which does seem very cheap to me, and is extremely affordable for the vast majority of people looking to get into unusual trading, or that have been unusual trading and want to get themselves a nice unusual. This is definitely a really nice unusual and should probably be priced a bit higher than it actually is. So lastly on the list we have an unusual that isn't even priced on backpack.tf, but with over 100 in existence it's more than likely going to, and this is going to be the Tesla Coil Wingman. Now, both the Starstorm Effect Wingmans are priced very low. In fact, I think it's around like 13 to 16 keys, somewhere in that region, and it's just very cheap. Tesla Coil, there's so many on the market due to how many were unboxed, and they range from like being listed for 13 or 16 keys. Now, if you can get over the fact there's going to be a turkey resting on your Scout's head, this is actually such a cool unusual. Tesla Coil is definitely my favourite effect to be released from the Halloween 2016 update, and just looks really cool. It's like a even higher tier version of Kilowatt and Terawatt, and I prefer the colour more. I prefer that purple tinge, and overall it's just such a cool effect. So we can disregard the fact there's going to be an actual turkey resting on your head for a 13 key Tesla Coil hat essentially. Like, I can't believe how cheap this hat is, and it's such a shame these Halloween effects are essentially going to waste due to how oversaturated the market is for them. But that is just about it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below on this series. If you would like to see more, then do remember to drop a like, and that is just about it, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and peace.